evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Black is Magazine. Thank you. Welcome to Phases the Next Level. Thank you again for being here. We have our guest, Lawana Harris, here tonight. We're so excited to have Lawana. Lawana, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me. This is exciting.
Yes, this is some really good stuff. You know, we're creating a brand new magazine, Black Is, where you will be one of the stories in the magazine. There will also be a link to this interview so they can see the rest of the interview here. I want you, if you will, go ahead and tell everyone who you are and what you are doing currently.
All right. So I am Lawana Harris, also known as Lawana Michelle, and I enlighten, encourage, and empower others to live to their fullest potential through personal being, spiritual, and their spiritual being, personal and professional development. And what I do, I actually just teach people and show people and just encourage people to live life and to live it to their fullest, and just to really help them to understand that God has a greater purpose for them, and whatever it is that they're trying to get to, whether it's a business and whether it's, relationships, whatever it is, it's helping them going from chaos to clarity.
Yes,
so that's what I do.
Chaos to clarity. I really like that, because a lot of times we can just be in an uproar. We don't know what's going on in our life, where we're going. We meet ourselves going and coming. And a lot of times, I've talked to people prior, and it's just, COVID was a horrible thing. It is a horrible thing that happened, but it helped a lot of us to gather ourselves.
Right.
Down and really figure out ourselves first.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, and when I talked about you were one of my picks, it's just because of those reasons. When we're on the same page, we want to empower people to be their best selves, and let them know that it is possible. Some people just, have lost all hope. And so I think when I say that I speak for both of us, I want to help people find themselves again and live their best lives. I want to talk about the things that happened that led up to what you're doing today, so what is it that you were doing prior to this that said, hey, I need to figure out a way to empower people? What was that thing?
Yeah, so one of the things that really kind of moved me, and it didn't really hit me until I was in grad school back in 2013, when I was in middle school, and I had to actually write a paper, and this brought back a story that happened to me when I was in middle school. There was a parent-teacher conference, and my mother she was talking to the teacher, and one of the teachers said, Lawana is she's disengaged. She's really not engaged in the classroom. She kind of sits in the back, and she could be doing so much better than what she does, kind of average. And so my mother asked me on the way home, she said, well, why are you sitting in the back of the classroom? And of course she doesn't remember this, but I remember it. But she said, why do you sit in the back of the classroom? And I said, well, I don't know. And she said, well, you never have to sit in the back of anything, because too many people have died for you to sit in the front. And one of the things that really hit me is that when she said too many people have died for you to walk in the front and to lead from the front and to be in the front, I didn't recognize that was the reason why I did a lot of things. If there's any type of classroom, I'm always sitting in the front. If there's any type of conference, I sit towards the front. But I didn't realize that. And then in addition to that, when I started understanding my purpose back in 2009, and that's where I learned to encourage and to enlighten and encourage and empower others to live to their fullest potential. That's where God gave me that, because I went through, had just come out of a divorce. I had just moved back home. I pretty much lost, my home. I had gone through some really tough situations, and it was very emotional. So coming back home, it kind of just it hit that reset button, and then I learned my purpose. and started really understanding what that looked like. And so with the collaboration between that story and my purpose, now I knew how to lead from the front, really, and how to walk in the front, how to walk, when God says, you're the head and not the tail, well, that means I am the head. I am walking from the front. I lead from the front, and I lead others from the front. And so, I just started doing some work on myself and started doing some healing, and just really started going into speaking and encouraging others even more. I was really, really intrigued by just leadership and going into leadership and learning about that and how people behave. And so it was just a lot of different reasons that got me up to this. I went and got my master's in human relations, and that was another aspect of how my mind changed in regards to leading others, and then when going into ministry even more, and teaching leadership in the church and teaching others how to be leaders from a spiritual sense. Reading books that Dr. Miles Monroe, he wrote, and John C. Maxwell. And so these were a lot of things that really kind of pushed me into really encouraging other people, and just empowering them to lead from the front, and know who you are, know that you have a greater purpose, know that you are here for a reason, and to really live to your fullest potential here on earth. Not waiting until you get to heaven, because once you get to heaven, once you get to wherever it is that you're going, then that's not here. So it's just saying, while you're here, how do you live, and how do you get all of those things out of your mind, to walk in clarity and to truly walk in purpose like God intended you to do.
Right. I said that I like chaos to clarity. I like that because of the uproar in our lives and because of the things that we do. Talk a little bit more about chaos in our lives.
Woo, girl. Oh, chaos. You know what? Chaos can be a good thing, and it can be a horrible thing. The bad part about chaos is that sometimes it comes unexpectedly. It comes at the craziest time, and it causes so much turmoil in our lives, and it causes so many things that sometimes we really don't have any control over. However, it can also be a positive thing, because also clarity can come out of chaos. So if you think of, when you're cleaning out your closet, or when you're cleaning out, your drawers or whatever, you just start taking stuff out. You start taking things out of your bedroom, out of your, and your room looks a mess until you really start putting those things back into place. And to someone that comes into your room, it may look like chaos. It's like, what are you doing? But you know what you're doing, but you're putting those things back into place where they should be and where they need to be. And sometimes it takes a little bit of help. It takes a little bit of coaching. It takes a little bit of accountability to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, and going back to the analogy of our cleaning out our closet. So if someone came in and said, LaWanda, you know what? You haven't worn this in 5 years. You need to go ahead and take that out. Then that's the accountability piece, because we really like to hold on to things that are no longer useful. Once you put those things in place that need to be there, then you will start walking in a little bit more clarity, and start walking into, now I can identify the things that I need to change. Now I can commit to it. And now I need to execute those things that I need to execute and put into play. So, good things can come out of chaos. And the only time that it's not good is if you stay in it, and you're adding more chaos, and you're allowing more chaos to come into your life, where now it's just out of control.
I like that. I want to talk, I really like all of that. When you speak about holding on to that stuff, when we hold on to the things, when we talked about chaos, and we talked about the good and the bad, because there's good and bad in both of that. But in the bad, and we hold on to the bad stuff, we tend to hold on to the bad stuff. Grasping, letting it go and getting to the good stuff. Hold ourselves back. And I like that, because when we hold on to that stuff, we can't move forward. We can't move forward, because that's holding us down and holds us back. I want to talk about failure, because a lot of the chaos and a lot of the bad stuff from the chaos is because we feel like we failed, and because we failed at whatever it is we failed at. How do we move on? We don't even know how to move on from that. Talk about failure and your perspective of failure, and why failure can be good.
Yeah. So I really don't think that people are failures until you stop doing what it is that you're doing. That's failure to me. That's failing. When you have so I love analogies because it brings it back, it brings it into perspective. So when you're in class, right, and you get this failing grade, it's an F for the moment, and it's something that is kind of it's absolute until the teacher says, you know what, you can retake this test. Now you have another opportunity to redo the test. You have another opportunity to give it a chance, to give it a go. But you're only going to get a new grade if you restudy, if you study some more, if you kind of go over and review. But I don't think of failing as something that is totally bad, because guess what? We're all going to fail at something. We're going to fail, whether it's, trying to learn a new skill, whether it's, in my case, I'm trying to get this workout down. I'm really trying to get it down. Honey, let me tell you, it ain't working, but I'm gonna get it. It's really tough, but it's a mindset shift.
It is.
That's what it is. It's really a mindset shift. And so what you have to do is, when you are thinking that you're failing, the only time that you really fail is when you stop doing what it is that you're doing. If you don't learn a lesson out of it, that's right. Because I don't regret or hate any of the things that have gone on in my life. I don't think I don't think that my marriage failed. I think it just happened. It was a divorce. I don't think that I'm a failure in any of the endeavors that I've had before. It just wasn't that time, I guess. And so it's just, you learn from that and you move on.
Yeah. I know that as human beings, we all are different, and we look at things from a different perspective, and we look at it in a different way. But what I like, and so that's a lot of times why people can't move on. They don't know what to do.
Right. Exactly.
But I like what you say about learning the lesson from failures, because I think failures are set up for, we trip and we fall, but we don't have to stay down there.
Absolutely.
So while we're down there, I will learn what not to do again. That got here. Right. And then I'll learn what I need to do better to move on from that. So I think that's a great learning lesson. I think failure is great. And if you're gonna fail big. Denzel Washington said, fail big.
Yeah.
So because your biggest lesson to learn. Yeah. And we can always learn from that.
Yeah, and the only way that you're going to fail big, and the only way that you're going to fail, is if you take a step, right? You have to take that step in faith and say, you know what, if I'm going to fail big, and if I'm going to knock this thing over, you know what, let me just go ahead and try and just see, because you might not, you may knock it out the park. You may, but you're not going to know. You're not going to know until you actually take that step. And, a lot of times when I do talking or speaking, I'm not talking just to everybody in the audience or who's on the Zoom call. I'm talking to myself, because this is definitely a process so I'm not talking about stuff that I don't know. I'm talking about stuff that I'm learning and living myself.
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I just want people to understand that this is a process that we all go through. No one has just been like, I just made this and made it. No, you got some people that's still walking this thing out, and I'm one of them.
And that's crazy, because I feel the same exact way. Like, I was just writing it down, that when I speak to people, I say, it's okay to step outside the box, but you got to make a move first. You can't expect greatness to happen if you keep putting the same thing in and doing the same thing in this little stuffy box that you spread your wings and fly, because you're so stuffed in that box. So you got to step outside the box and think of things, be creative. What can I do? I know what I love to do. How can I get there?
Absolutely.
And on my journey getting there, I have to understand I may or may not fail. But I will not quit. I like that part where you say, you're not a failure until you just quit.
Yes, that's failing.
It's true. That's true.
That's a failure to me.
It's a true statement.
Yes. So it's all good. Let's keep it moving.
Right. Keep it pushing. So when we talk about business, and that's what we're really focused, honing in on when we're talking about businesses and growing our businesses and building a business and creating a business. That's a part of, you're going to fail. There's going to be bumps in the road. Don't quit. What will you tell people when that are thinking about building a business but are afraid to do that because of the unknown, the unforeseen?
Yes. So, and that's truly important too, because, when you are in business and when you're trying to build a business and when you're trying to do things like that, there's going to be some shifting. I will even say that I'm in a shift now. I am literally in that shift of, just don't be afraid to, just to be open, be open to just new, be open to not being like everybody else. That's one of the things that is truly important. If God tells you, it gives you a vision, then that's the vision that he gave you. He didn't give that to anybody else. So don't be afraid of, of looking crazy or sounding crazy or just, just looking different. Just walk in your lane, because when you are in your lane and when you stay in your lane, then you're going to get to the destination that is for you, not for anybody else. So don't be afraid of that, and don't be afraid of the shift. There are things when you're like, okay, I thought I was going to look this way, and I thought I was really going to go down this lane. I thought this service was going to monetize, and I really thought that this service people was going to, jump on this, and I thought this, and I thought, but and sometimes, you know what? If that doesn't work, if that service is not monetized in the way that, if people are not biting on that, don't be afraid of the shift to something else. It's okay. Yeah. You can, continue that, but don't be afraid to shift. Don't be afraid to change it up. Don't be afraid to do something different that because that's the only way that you're going to find what your lane is. Sometimes you do have to shift lanes sometimes, but when you stay in your lane, then you'll get to exactly where you need to be. So I would say, don't be afraid of the shift.
I like that. And even when you're trying to build a business, and I ran into that with the magazine that I'm creating. There are a billion magazines out there.
Yes.
There are a billion speakers out there. There are, whatever it is, there are more than you just trying to get there.
Right.
What I think the lesson that I'm learning, or that I've learned before even jumping into this, is that what makes mine unique? How do I separate myself from the rest? Right. Mm-hmm. So don't be afraid, because there's I had an interview with a lady who opened a online boutique. One of her fears were that there's so many online boutiques, right?
Yeah, right.
And she almost didn't do it, but she felt like, I feel, go for it. What is about you that's different, and make it different. Don't be afraid. You don't have to do what magazines have always done. You don't have to do what boutiques have always done.
Exactly.
Shift it.
Yeah.
Make it different. Yeah.
Yes.
Agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And make it your own, because it's different because it's coming from you.
Right.
That's the difference. And God didn't make everybody the same. So the reason why he, it's you doing it because you're supposed to do it, because there's a different audience that's attached to you per se versus someone else. So the audience that needs to hear you, they're going to hear it. The people that's supposed to hear somebody else, they're going to hear from them. That's going to be, it's just so, it's just like that picture. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture, that there's so many, a picture of the aisle of bread in a grocery store. There's so many loaves of bread. There's so many brands of bread. But you know what? Every bread company is prospering, and they're all on the shelf. And guess what? At one point, it was no bread on the shelf. So don't think that nobody's gonna come and eat from your gift. Like it's there.
Yeah,
it's your gift.
Yes, I love your analogies. I love the way you put that, because it's so true. It's so true. Because the bottom line, and this is so what I believe, that what is for me is for me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for you is for you.
Absolutely.
I also want to talk to another lady who was creating a magazine right now, and I'm doing the same. And we didn't even know, but we can celebrate one another.
Absolutely.
We may have competition because we're both doing a magazine, but I'm celebrating this sister. This is celebrating me, because she's going to bring something to the table that I would never even think of. I'm gonna bring something to the table different. So we gotta understand, y'all out there, listen, trying to build a business. If you
Yes.
just because it's a bunch of people doing it, you won't
Yes.
be the first. You're not gonna be the last to do it.
Absolutely. Exactly.
You do you what God gave you.
Do
He
you?
gave He
Yep.
gave us all talents and skills. Use what He
Absolutely.
gave you for what you're
Yeah.
trying to do.
Right.
Don't,
Exactly.
don't worry about the other people.
Right, they're right.
That's
Because
what
you
we
know what,
yeah,
when you compare and when you compare yourself to other people, that takes a focus off of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Because you're so looking at you're so busy looking at other people that you can't even focus on the things that God is trying to tell you to do.
right.
You know, you're so focused on, okay, what God told them something different, and and they have to do what they're supposed to do versus what you're supposed to do. Take your eyes off of everybody else, because when you compare yourself, that is the killer of dreams. Comparison is the destroyer of vision, all of that stuff. So, stop comparing yourself to other people. Don't do that. Get inspired, but you don't have to compare yourself to the people. There's a total different from being inspired and trying to be a copycat.
Absolutely. And I
Mhm.
saw something the other day, and it said it was from a guy, and he had put a quote on there. And I'm not saying it word for word, but it was something like, I never hated on you. I've always celebrated you. Even though
Yeah.
we're doing the same things, I've always celebrated you. Not
Yes.
because that's not, I can't succeed hating on somebody or
Right.
focusing on their
No,
work.
you can't.
While they're
No.
steady working and moving forward, I'm steady focused on what they're doing.
Right.
I have to focus on me and what God
Yep.
has given.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
Mhm.
where are you today in business? Tell me about your business.
So it's personal and professional development, and what I've been doing is just really helping people like business strategy. So for those that have been wanting to start businesses, really getting into the mindset of, because when you're starting a business, it's so much bigger than just putting together a business plan. And so one of the things that I've done is just really help people get out of that mindset. And so the Chaos to Clarity business, the program, is a 7-module program that helps literally people go through, and I walk them through going from the old mindsets, overcoming obstacles, overcoming those internal and those external obstacles. And I have a strategy that's called the ICE method that helps them identify, shows them how to commit and to execute so they can get over those obstacles. It really talks about, what is your blueprint? We put together a blueprint and then help them walk through it one-on-one. And then also with
What
the
is the C? What is your C? Commit?
commit. Yes, ma'am. So
Okay.
identify, commit, and execute.
I like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's a method that I use to help people go through, okay, how do I get out of my obstacles, my past obstacles, really helping them identify what that is. What are your fears? What are those things that you literally have to overcome? And so I walk them through that, and it's 7 modules for that. And again, I'm in the shift.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I don't know what that shift looks like, but that's still my signature program. So that's the business part of it. And then also,
business. What's the name of your business?
It's SkyMax Business Strategies.
SkyMax.
SkyMax, SKYMAX.
Business strategy.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So it is, so it's just, really, like I said, really, that's the signature. Then, of course, doing webinars, talk about resilience, and doing training sessions on resilience, and then finding your leadership voice. So it's really just helping people find that inner peace and bringing it out, just helping people live to their fullest potential, because so many people, they have these ideas in their minds, and they have these things going on in their minds, but they really don't know how to put it on paper, and they don't know what they need to do. And so, of course, there's the spiritual component of it. So as I said before, I'm also in ministry.
So you talk about how you empower people and how you take them through these modules for their businesses, and how you encourage people to be their best selves and all that stuff, right? How is that different from your ministry work? And so I think that's what you were going to talk about. I'm trying to.
It's not.
It's not. That's the answer I'm looking for.
It's not.
about it.
That is my ministry. Ministry is so outside of the four walls of the church. That is ministry. What I do is ministry because it's not just it's coming from my experiences, but it's also coming from the word as well. You know, when God says, you know, he wants us to do greater works than he has done, that means, you know, we have to first and foremost understand who we are in him. And we have to understand that we, again, are here for a purpose, and that he has designed us for a specific purpose. And that, you know, it's not so this old saying that people used to say, you can't be so heavenly minded that you know earthly good. So there are people that you need to touch here right on earth right now that need to hear you and that need to be inspired by whatever it is that you have to say. And then so just, you know, just helping people get out of, you know, just those that are brokenhearted. I also go by Isaiah 61, where it talks about, you know, you're supposed to speak to the brokenhearted. You're supposed to speak to those who are, you know, in those dark places, and you have been anointed to speak the word. And so I look at that, and that's what I do. So everything that I do is ministry. Everything that I do, whether it's a video, whether it's a Facebook Live, whether it's you know, whether I'm talking to somebody, whether it is I'm speaking, you know, if it's professional, I can't do anything outside of what God has given me, and that is ministry.
I love it.
That is ministry.
I like that. Everything that I do, God first.
Absolutely.
Everything. I don't care if who don't like it, who's not used to it. I don't care if I do business with you and you don't like it, then maybe it's not for us to do business, because everything that I do, I'm going to put God first, because he's the one that guides. He's the one that gives us the right answers. And he even when we fail, even when we make mistakes, it's still about him. And so I'll always, and that's what I like about you, you know, we got a business and we got to run our businesses and we got to do our work. But at the end of the day, it ain't nothing about me.
No, it's not.
And I always will tell people to seek his face, seek him, go deep into a higher power to figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And, you know,
and be open be open. One of the things that God can really just show me, and I've been on this for the past few months, earlier this year. So for the last few years, I've been really grinding, like just really, you know, networking, just, you know, connecting with people, just trying to connect with the right people, you know, social media strategies, all these other things, you know, coaches, losing money, you know, all of this stuff, grad school, you know, just really on the grind, right?
Yes.
And so one of the things that the guy really showed me earlier this year, going into, you know, coming into 2020, because I was like, you know, vision 2020 and 2020 vision. I'm like, we're going to get it this year. And so he said, you know what, you need to let go of everything that you thought you knew about yourself.
Wow.
And I was like, well, what does that mean? And when it kept coming back to me, you need to let go of everything that you thought you knew about yourself. And so when I heard that, and when I looked, you know, it literally, I got emotional, because I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what is that? What does that mean? And so as I thought about it more, it was just literally, and then when things started happening, like, you know, started meeting people, and it was just like, okay, letting this, like, what I thought things should look like, that was letting go of everything that I thought I knew about me, of what things are supposed to look like. Right. So being open to not just what I thought things should be or the way they should be, but being open to whatever way God wants to bring whatever is for me. Because his thing, and if somebody told me, he said, he's going to bring you not just what you want, but exactly what you need. And sometimes we don't know what we need until it's there, until it's in our presence, until it's in our hand, until it's right before us. We don't know that. And then it's just like, man, Like,
Listen.
that's exactly what I needed. Like, I didn't know that.
Yes, listen.
Yes.
His plan is better than ours. Like I have been adamant about going this way. Like this is really what I mean. Like I was for real. And he was like, I didn't say that. I didn't tell you to do that. So turn your little self back around.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly.
Get your stuff from me. So you
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And that's exactly what I think your example is, you know?
Yes. That's why I said I'm in a shift. I literally, like, I'm not playing, like, I'm literally in a shift. Yeah. And he is shifting me because he's taken down and literally making me let go of the things that I thought I should be doing. Like, seriously, that's why I said I'm in the shift of what that looks like, even business wise.
You know, go through me because it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, that's real. That's real talk, girl. That's real talk.
This is good stuff. Good stuff. So
yeah.
I want to, in conclusion, and I want to go ahead and get to the end here. Want to talk about, because I could sit here and talk to you. It's you and then my sister Mika in Houston. I could talk to y'all.
I love Mika.
I love her. So anyway, as we conclude this interview, I want to talk about how people can reach you.
Yes.
Talk about your social media stuff, how they can contact you, because I just believe that there are some people that need exactly what you can give them.
Absolutely. Yes.
It would be very important to be able to contact you. So let's talk about how we can contact you.
Oh, honey, I'm on social media every day, all the time. So
I tell people, I said, just unfriend me if you don't want to see it, because I'm going
to exactly. So I'm on Facebook at Luana Harris. Actually, it's Luana Bumpers Harris on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram under Luana. I am Luana Michelle. I'm also on LinkedIn under Luana Harris, and Luana is spelled Lewana. I'm actually on Twitter, but I'm not as much on Twitter as I don't do a whole lot of it, but I'm on there as well. But those are the best ways to reach me. IG, LinkedIn. And then I also have a page of SkyMax Business Strategies that you can also reach me on Facebook as well.
What is your LinkedIn again?
Luana Harris.
Okay.
It's just Luana Harris on LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, I appreciate this, Luana. Yes, I want to say again that I appreciate you being here. Every time.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Every time that I speak to you, I learn something from you. And I felt like we need to get it out in the universe.
Yeah. And I'm also on YouTube as well under Luana Harris. YouTube as well. Mm-hmm.
That's good. So she's also on YouTube, you guys. So I just hope you guys that are very serious about your business, about creating your business, about having the right strategy, about wanting to be better and wanting to be empowered, that you would reach out to Luana. She's given us her contact information. You can always contact me right here below in YouTube and just say, hey, how do I get Luana? But anyway, we can reach her. If you can't get her, I can get her for you.
Absolutely, sure can.
and here's the thing I want you guys to know. It doesn't matter where you live. Zoom has taught us a lot since this COVID.
Right.
So it doesn't matter where you are, wherever you are, maybe you're not getting what you need there. Set up a Zoom, figure out what it takes to get Luana on a Zoom meeting and set it up where you guys access the good stuff, the stuff that you need to move forward and be successful and learn how to fail and learn how to get past it.
Yes.
Luana, what is the last thing that you want to leave with the world about business, about anything that you want to leave to them that's good?
Yeah, so just understanding that you can grow out of traumatic experiences. You can grow out of, even though we are in this pandemic and, a lot of people are struggling and a lot of people have struggled, there are still blessings that God wants to provide for us and that he has for us. And so there is still growth. There's an article actually on LinkedIn that I wrote talking about post-traumatic growth.
Yes.
And so there is growth. After traumatic experiences, sometimes people have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, but there's also a real thing called PTG, post-traumatic growth. And so you just definitely have to be open to new opportunities. You have to have that spiritual connection, just be be an overcomer because that's what you are. So it's
Yeah.
all right.
You guys, you have to go to LinkedIn and read that article. It was really good, LaWanda.
Yeah.
So you guys,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, I want to put that in the link in the YouTube. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that they can get to it, because I'm dealing with people that are for real. If you ain't for real about your business, you ain't real about trying to be better, I don't think this channel is for you, because I'm for real about, and I'm sincere about wanting to help people. So I want you guys to go read that post-traumatic growth, because it's a way out. It's a way out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I look forward to doing business with you somehow, some way down the line in the future, but we'll always stay connected.
Absolutely. We sure will. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
God bless you.
Okay, you too. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.